Your current reality is just an echo. Change the source signal, and the world has no choice but to rearrange. Listen closely. Not with the ears that chase noise, but with the quiet inside your chest. What you call life is not a random storm. It is a reply to what you carry within. Not punishment, not favor, and echoes are faithful. They do not choose the song. They return what was sent. Most people argue with the echo. They chase the sound. They demand the mountains answer differently. They grow tired. Then they call the valley fate. But the few, the rare few, look away from the canyon walls and toward the mouth of the cave where the first sound is made. The source, the signal, the origin that shapes what returns. If you're here, it isn't accident, it's alignment. Something in you has grown tired of correcting the mirror while leaving the face unchanged. Something in you has sensed the simple, humbling truth. What surrounds you is a translation of what emanates from you, and translations can change when the message changes. Think of your days like waves on a shore. Each wave looks different. Work, family, hopes, delays. But each carries the signature of a deeper tide. People call the wave luck or loss. The few read the tide. They don't chase foam. They honor the pull beneath the surface. And the shore begins to welcome them differently. Echo, signal. Two words, one reality. The echo is late, the signal is now. The echo is loud, the signal is quiet. The echo is dramatic, the signal is precise. The world argues with volume. Truth adjusts the dial. And when the dial turns gently, decisively, the scenery follows not by accident but by design. You are not asked to force the sky wider or convince the sun to rise sooner. You are simply shown a doorway, the place where outcomes begin, the unseen decision about who you are before the day even speaks your name. When that decision is steady, clean, sincere, upright, the echo cannot betray it. Reality is so many have been taught that only struggle is holy, that only noise is proof of progress. But the most powerful movements are often silent, a sincere intention that refuses to contradict itself, a calm certainty that does not bend under every gust, a heart that honors what is right and trusts that what is right will be made clear. These are foundations. Look around. The world is crowded with reactions, yet starved of resolve. Reactions are loud and brief, like thunder. Resolve is quiet and enduring, like the ground. Stand where the ground stands. Let the echo take its time if it must. But let the signal remain pure. Purity is not weakness. Purity is power without noise. There is a moment, subtle, decisive, when you stop negotiating with fear and stop campaigning for doubt. In that moment, the old echo loses its audience. The scene may still wear yesterday's colors, but yesterday no longer owns the script. The field hears you, not because you demanded, but because you aligned. You were never asked to worship appearances or to measure your worth by delays. Delays are not verdicts, they are corridors. A corridor can feel narrow, yet it leads somewhere generous. Walk it with dignity. What is written for you arrives in its appointed form and time. No one can take it, and no noise can stain it. If this reaches you, let it settle. Not as hype, not as pressure, but as relief. Relief that you do not have to arm. Wrestle the echo, relief that your task is simpler and higher. Keep the signal honest. Keep it free from the contradictions that drain your days and darken your nights. When the signal is clear, the echo cannot remain confused. Remember the line, change the source signal, and the world has no choice but to rearrange. Not because the world serves your impatience, but because truth has its own gravity. When your inner meaning is straight, your outer path stops bending you into knots. You don't need grand gestures. You don't need a parade of fireworks. You need a steady heart, a clean intention, and words that do not betray them. Let the echo catch up. It will, it always does, and when it does, you will recognize it, not as a miracle from nowhere, but as the faithful return of what you chose to carry. Stay with me. The noise is about to quiet. The old echo is about to fade, and a better reply is already on its way, because the source has changed. The old echo is persuasive. It arrives with costumes, numbers on a screen, doors that seem closed, voices that second guess. It points to evidence and whispers. See, nothing changes. But evidence is late. Evidence is the footprint, never the foot. The source signal moves first. The echo limps after. The echo wants you to react, to chase, to argue, to fold yourself into shapes you don't respect just to convince a world that doesn't decide your worth. But reaction is borrowed breath. It gives the echo authorship it never earned. When the signal is steady, the echo's speech loses grammar. Its sentences fall apart. Consider a mirror at dawn. The sky in the glass darkens or brightens after the sky itself. No one negotiates with the reflection. They watch the horizon. In the same way, dignity looks forward. It does not beg the image to change. It rises with what is right and lets reflections learn in their own time. There is a quiet authority that comes from inner congruence. Thought not at war with word. Word not at war with heart. Congruence does not shout. It does not perform. It stands. And because it stands, roads that once twisted begin to straighten. Not magic order. Not arrogance, clarity. Many mistake loud for true. The echo can be very loud, but truth carries a different weight. A calm certainty that does not require applause. The few learn to recognize this weight. They choose it when praise arrives, and they choose it when silence visits. The choice becomes a rhythm. The rhythm becomes a climate. Climates change landscapes. The echo will test you with delays. If your signal is real, prove it now. But you are not on trial. You are on path. Delay is not denial. It is arrangement, threads being woven where you can. Trust is not passivity. Trust is refusal to injure your own signal. Notice how the echo tries to rename you. You are late. You are small. You are stuck. Names matter. Do not wear labels cut by impatience. Wear what is true. You are not behind. You are being aligned. What is written to reach you arrives with precision. Nothing rightful asks you to break yourself to receive it. When storms come, umbrellas appear. When seasons turn, new doors swing on old hinges. You do not control seasons, you honor them. You do not command rain, you walk with it. In the same way, you don't have to coerce outcomes. You keep the signal sincere, and outcomes learn their place. The echo loves arguments about worth, comparisons, tallies, unfinished lists. You were never meant to live by ledger. The heart knows a different arithmetic, one where sincerity multiplies, Gratitude clears the view, and integrity gathers what hustle alone cannot hold. This arithmetic may look slow, until it arrives all at once. Quiet victories begin where the echo cannot shout, in choices no one sees. Not spectacle, substance, not noise, meaning. What you refuse to compromise when no one is looking becomes architecture. When everyone is watching, foundations speak last, and they speak long. Remember, the echo is yesterday's news delivered with today's urgency. Let it knock. Let it pass. The signal is the headline. Keep it whole, keep it clean. Keep it free from the small bargains that sell peace for a moment and charge joy for years. And when the echo tries one final trick to tell you that you are alone, look carefully. Even in apparent emptiness, there is design, unseen help, unseen timing, unseen openings being cut into walls you thought were solid. What is meant for you does not miss you. What is yours by right does not require you to become someone you are not. So let this be clear, you do not answer to yesterday's echo. You answer to the truth you carry and speak from that. Walk with that. The world may take a breath before it understands, but understand it will. The line remains. Change the source signal, and the world has no choice but to rearrange. The rearranging has begun. You can feel it. Less noise, more meaning, fewer storms, clearer sky. Not because you forced the river, but because you aligned with where it was always meant to flow. The world answers the signal you carry, and the signal is authored by identity. Not the labels handed to you, not the roles borrowed for convenience, the quiet definition you accept when no one is watching. Identity is the pen, reality is the paper. What the pen writes, the paper reflects. Most people try to edit the echo while leaving the pen unchanged. They correct, rearrange, negotiate with outcomes, yet keep the same sentence about who they are. The paragraph returns, again and again, in new fonts and familiar meanings. Different scene, same signature. Identity is not noise, it is tone. Noise can be imitated. Tone. You can mimic confidence for a moment, but tone reveals itself in the pauses. You can borrow courage for a speech, but tone speaks when the room empties. The field does not measure theatrics, it reads tone. There is a difference between wishing and being. Wishing points at distance. Being closes it. Wishing describes. Being declares. Wishing hopes the mirror smiles first. Being allows the face to soften and trusts the reflection to learn. The field recognizes being the way a lock recognizes its key. Identity is not built from comparisons. Comparisons make a market out of what is sacred. Identity is clarified by truth, what you stand for when it is easier to float, what you refuse when it is fashionable to agree, what you honor, even when applause is elsewhere. Truth is the weight that keeps the signal steady. Beware the subtle costume, achievement as identity, title as essence, applause as meaning. These are ornaments, not foundations. When the room is quiet, ornaments cannot hold a roof, foundations do. And foundations are poured in sincerity, patience, and a heart that refuses to contradict itself. The echo will test identity with quick bargains. Trade a little peace for a quick result. Trade a little clarity for a louder stage. But quick bargains write slow debts. Identity does not rent itself to urgency. Identity is a covenant with what is right, unrushed, unafraid, unconfused. You are not what happened to you. You are how truth moves through you. You are not the delay. You are the dignity with which you walk it. You are not the closed door. You are the patience that lets the correct door find its hour. When this settles inside, the signal changes without announcement. Consider the lamp and its light. The room does not argue with the bulb. It makes room for light. When identity is clear, choices align like beads on a string. There is less friction, fewer detours, more quiet confirmations that arrive without spectacle. Some think identity is a speech. In truth, it is a stance. A stance does not need volume. It needs alignment. Heart not at war with word. Word not at war. This is not performance. This is coherence. And coherence carries a fragrance that outcomes cannot ignore. The world is fluent in many languages. Coherence is the one it cannot refuse. It hears coherence in how you end your day, in what you honor when no one counts, in whether your gratitude is a headline only in harvest or also in planting. Coherence turns scattered signals into a single beam. When identity is settled, waiting loses its sting. Time becomes a servant, not an opponent. You stop rushing to prove what truth does not request. You stop shrinking to keep peace. That is not peace. You stop painting yourself small to fit frames too narrow. Hold this as a seal upon the heart. Reality replies to identity. Not the mask, not the mood, not the momentary spin, but the steady meaning you accept as you, when that meaning is clean. The echo cannot remain crooked. The field does not resist clarity. It rearranges around it, and the line returns carrying more weight than before. Your current reality is just an echo. Change the source signal, and the world has no choice but to rearrange. Identity is that source. Clarify it quietly. Guard it gently. Let it speak for you when you say nothing at all. The page is turned. No performance, no pressure, only truth, written without tremble. When the sentence is right, the story remembers how to honor it. Order doesn't arrive with trumpets. It arrives like dawn. First, a hush, then a pale line on the horizon. Then suddenly, you realize the room can see itself. That is what coherence does to a life. Quietly gathering scattered pieces into a single direction until noise runs out of places to hide. Coherence is not a trick of mood. It is the end of private contradictions. When what you mean, what you speak, and what you allow no longer argue in the dark. Reality has fewer mixed instructions to obey. Confusion is expensive. Clarity pays everything forward. Many chase ease as a prize. In truth, ease is a byproduct of congruence. It is what remains when you stop financing detours. Ease is not laziness. It is friction leaving the system. The water did not become weaker. It found its riverbed. Notice how chaos often shouts while order rarely raises its voice. Chaos promises urgency. Order delivers continuity. Chaos thrills and exhausts. Order steadies and restores. When the source signal stops changing costumes, doors that once groaned begin to swing on oiled hinges. There is a turning point where you no longer measure progress by how loud the day was. You measure by alignment. Did the words match the worth? Did the choices honor what is right? Did you refuse the small bargains that make the echo rich and the heart poor? On such days, Even silence feels like achievement. Coherence changes your relationship with timing. You stop calling every pause a problem. You stop labeling every delay as denial. You start recognizing an older math at work. Arrangements moving on rhythms kinder than impatience can imagine. What is rightful does not require harm to be received. The world will still test the edges, sudden wins, old invitations, familiar shortcuts disguised as new roads. But coherence is not easily rented. It remembers the cost of borrowed peace. It remembers that cheap victories come with long receipts. When the signal is steady, you will see a pattern. Meetings that once felt forced begin to feel appointed. Tasks that once drained now carry meaning. Rooms that once ignored your presence begin to recalibrate around your tone. Not because you demanded attention, but because attention recognizes integrity. Beware the illusion that spectacle equals significance. Fireworks impress the sky and then vanish. Fire warms the house night after night. Coherence prefers the hearth. It builds what can be trusted when applause dissolves. You will notice fewer arguments with appearances. The mirror frowns, and you do not panic. You align the face and let the reflection learn. A message arrives late. You do not collapse. You keep the meaning whole and watch late things arrive right on time. This is not passivity. It is intelligent trust. Gratitude becomes fluent, not as performance, but as posture. Gratitude doesn't deny difficulty. It denies despair the final word. It reads the small provisions that impatience overlooks. It honors the quiet protections that noise cannot count. Coherence alters the atmosphere around you. People may not know why they feel calmer in your company. They are meeting a life without inner quarrels. Even your refusals become gentle. Even your boundaries carry kindness, strength without harshness, clarity without cruelty. And when order deepens, you'll see how much of yesterday's weight was self-imposed. Worry rehearsed, outcomes micromanaged, dignity mortgaged to hurry. Coherence returns what was always yours: steadiness, clean sight, and the strength to leave what costs your peace more than it buys your progress. Remember the sentence that keeps returning: your current reality is just an echo. Change the source signal and the world has no choice but to rearrange. Rearrangement is not always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like a door that no longer sticks, a conversation that finally tells the truth, a path that stops bending you into shapes you don't respect. When coherence holds, even no becomes a bridge, not a wall. Even detours become protection, not punishment. Even closed gates become redirection toward fields you could not see from where you stood. This is the quiet triumph, not the world clapping, but the soul no longer flinching. Not the calendar overflowing, but the hours finally telling the truth. Not the echo flattering you, but the signal honoring what is right. Timing has never been your enemy. It only felt that way when hurry became your habit. The field has never been late. It's been exact precision disguised as pause. The delay you resented was often the detour that saved you. There is a rhythm underneath what seems random. It doesn't rush because you panic. It doesn't stall because you doubt. The rhythm of divine timing isn't measured by your clock. It's tuned to alignment. When you move with it instead of against it, struggle stops sounding like progress. The impatient world will tell you that stillness is weakness, that pausing means losing ground, but stillness is not stagnation. Stillness is calibration. When the signal is noisy, silence is medicine. When the mind keeps rehearsing fear, patience becomes protection. Every answered prayer, every closed door, every redirection carries the same signature, mercy wearing different faces. You weren't denied. You were being refined. Sometimes the field withholds what isn't yet aligned, not to punish, but to prevent distortion. Consider how night falls. The sky doesn't argue. The stars don't rush their turn. Each light arrives when the dark is ready to hold it. The same law governs your life. What belongs to you will not arrive early, because half-formed blessings collapse. It comes whole, when your tone can hold its weight. Patience is not passive. It's disciplined faith. It's the strength to act without agitation, to trust without theatrics, to allow what is right to find its rightful hour. You no longer beg outcomes, you prepare for them. And preparation is the highest respect you can offer destiny. Watch how timing tests the tone of your belief. It asks, do you trust only when it's visible? True alignment answers, I trust because it's truthful, not because it's easy. This answer carries authority in unseen realms, and authority moves mountains long before footsteps reach them. Delay reveals depth. When you can wait without breaking your own signal, you become dangerous to doubt, because doubt feeds on panic, not patience. The calm person is unreadable to chaos. The calm person is already aligned with outcome before outcome arrives. Look again at the phrase that guides everything. Your current reality is just an echo. Change the source signal, and the world has no choice but to rearrange. Timing is part of that rearrangement. It's the choreography of alignment. Events sliding into their proper sequence once you stop forcing the music. Trust this. Nothing truly meant for you needs you to betray peace to obtain it. If it requires corruption, it isn't provision. If it demands chaos, it isn't calling. Peace and purpose speak the same language, only ego mistranslates urgency as importance. When you finally surrender the timeline, you stop vibrating conflict into the field. Your calm becomes a magnet. Your certainty becomes a silent signal. And the echo begins to return as ordered harmony, not noise. Remember, divine timing is not slow. It's accurate. It's never punishing, it's perfecting. Each pause is a sculptor's hand shaping your readiness. Each delay is an alignment, not a denial. There comes a moment when the noise finally loses its audience, when the storm realizes you are not bargaining anymore. That moment is not loud. It arrives as a clean sentence in your chest. I will not contradict what is right to chase what is quick. From there, life begins to rhyme with truth. What once felt random starts revealing a pattern. Doors you don't have to push. Conversations that land without strain. Timings that feel precise instead of cruel. Nothing in the architecture of reality changed by accident. The source signal changed on purpose. The world will still try to sell you hurry. It will still parade mirrors that frown before the face relaxes. But you are different now. You know reflections are late. You know evidence is the footprint, not the foot. You know the echo is faithful. It returns what you carry. Read it once more, the compass that brought you here. Your current reality is just an echo. Change the source signal and the world has no choice but to rearrange. Not because the world kneels to impatience, but because order recognizes coherence. You are not small in this design. You are not a bystander to what shapes you. You are a witness with authority. A heart that chooses meaning over noise, dignity over drama, alignment over argument. From this place, even silence speaks in full sentences. If you have ever wondered whether your life could feel lighter without becoming shallow, the answer is already standing in front of you. Lightness is not emptiness. It is weight carried in the... It is truth holding what hands were never meant to drag. Let this settle like dawn over water. What is rightfully written for you does not require you to fracture to receive it. Mercy has many faces, closed doors, careful timings, quiet turns, and each has been working for you more than you knew. So breathe easier, not as a performance, but as relief. Relief that you no longer have to wrestle reflections. Relief that you can let the echo learn at its own pace while you keep the signal clean. Relief that alignment is not a spectacle. It is a stance that the world eventually understands. And when the next wave of old evidence shows up wearing urgency, you will remember yesterday does not name me. The field reads tone, not theater. You will remember the ground beneath the thunder. You will remember who you are when the room empties. This is the turning of the page, the quiet triumph, not the calendar overflowing, but the hour, not the crowd roaring, but your conscience resting. Not a light that looks loud from far away, but a life that feels honest up close. If this message resonated, if somewhere inside you it felt less like learning and more like remembering, then carry this seal as you step forward. I choose the signal, not the echo. Let that be your quiet standard. And now a simple, sincere invitation. If this spoke to you, stay close. Subscribe and join this circle where dignity is louder than noise, where timing is trusted, where alignment replaces argument. Like this video, so the message travels to the people who need it tonight. Share it with someone who is tired of wrestling mirrors. Drop this in the comments. I choose the signal, not the echo. Not as a ritual of performance, but as a public vow to keep your inner meaning clean. Your words have weight. Let them be a banner your future recognizes when it arrives. When you are ready to go deeper into how perception names your path and how clean observation invites provision, watch the next chapter linked here. Step from passive viewing to conscious witnessing. Let clarity continue what it has already begun. And remember, now and always change the source signal, and the world has no choice but to rearrange. May your path be ordered, your heart be steady, and your echo be faithful to the truth you carry.